Hey, welcome on in to Lunch with Claibs and Joe here on claibsonline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Mike Claiborne. Claibs, I'm all over the place today as Rammer and I just finished our daily cards talk, and now here you and I are for the next 30, 45 minutes with all of our listeners out there talking about everything that we've seen this past week. How are you? Nice and refreshed and everything from your week off from the club?
Yeah, I think so. I had a chance to play a little golf. I was at Norwood Hills on Sunday. Was it Sunday or Monday? I'm losing track of time. Anyway, Sunday, yeah. And with the tournament taking place there, Jose Maria Olazabal was there, just having a practice round. Of course, it's in great shape. I'm really anxious to see how these guys will deal with it. But then Saturday, I went to Mizzou to catch that game. 4 hours and 27 minutes of football. The last 5 minutes of the game took a half hour.
God.
They got to figure this out, man. This will kill college football.
What
like
I mean,
it's timeouts, penalties, checking replays. I mean, just it was everything. And they got to speed up the game, man. This is not good for TV. It's not good for fans. I mean, you go to a game at 3:00 and you're not out of there until almost 8. I mean, it's you can't do it. Cannot do it.
This past week I was out of town again. This weekend I was at Virginia Beach to run a half marathon on Sunday. So
yeah, how did you survive?
An hour and 51 minutes. I usually shoot for under 145. So given everything else I've been doing lately, I'll take the extra 6 minutes.
I mean, you think about what you've done in the last 2 weeks. Something's got to give at some point. So
yeah, and there's a lot given right now, but we'll I have to force myself to rest a lot more than I'm used to, and
gotta listen to your body.
It's tough. It's
to your body.
It's really tough. So I wasn't able to sit and watch games this past weekend, just kind of catching a little bit here and there. In the state of Virginia, you can bet on sports, so I threw a bunch of tried to get a parlay with a lot of overs, and that didn't work out for me. So I wasn't out a whole lot of money, but would have been nice if I could have hit those. But yeah, I just kind of was watching here and there over what happened with the college football, first full weekend of college football games. And I think you're already seeing, you're starting to have to learn some of these new faces, like Clemson. You know what? They don't have what's the kid's name that's starting
Trevor
for Jacksonville?
Lawrence.
Yeah, they don't have Trevor Lawrence anymore. So now it's okay. Can they still be a powerhouse with a brand new quarterback? How's Dabo going to handle that? Or do we kind of just hit the reset button and do they kind of go to the back of the line of the powerhouses while Alabama stays on top?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Clemson's biggest concerns are offensive line. Defensively, they're still really good. The quarterback is a really good athlete, big, strong guy who can make some things happen. Running game is a little suspect right now. So their biggest issues will be on offense. But if they get their offensive line squared away, they'll still be a very competitive team.
And with struggles like that, I know I saw LSU, they lose again this week, and they struggled. So 2 years ago, 2019, they win the national championship, have a bad year last year. Part of it COVID, part of it the amount of players they sent to the NFL, which is understandable, but still you lose your opening week to UCLA. It's not a great start to the second year post national championship. And then you just see Alabama just keep rolling them out there year after year after year. It is an amazing testament to how good of a coach Nick Saban is.
Well, not only is he a good coach, I think recruiter or his staff, they understand what it takes. I think the difference between Alabama and a lot of other schools is they have better line play on both sides of the ball. They have as many linemen get drafted in the first round as they have anybody else. So I think that they've been able to maintain that great pipeline of getting good players in there and basically telling guys, hey, look, you come here, your chances of playing in the pros goes up exponentially. And that I think has been the difference because, quarterbacks and running backs come and go. And I get that. But man, if you don't have the guys up front who can give protection, who can make holes, who can stop the other guys run and give a legitimate pass rush, I think that's where their difference lies between themselves and everybody else. They've been able to find that consistency.
So after week one of the, you got to see Mizzou in person. You watched some of the other games on the TV. What is your biggest takeaway from week one of the college football season? If you want to just go overhype and give hot takes on everything that you saw.
Well, I think as far as Missouri is concerned, I thought Missouri didn't want to show too much. You could see that they were running some scripted plays that probably something they just want to make sure they're good at. I think they want to make sure that Kentucky and Boston College don't see too much. You know, you're supposed to beat Central Michigan no matter what, all right? So I don't think that they really got exotic with any of their plays and some of the plays that they'll probably use in the next couple of weeks. Defensively, they had 9 sacks, but, you know, they gave up. They got gashed pretty good on certain plays. But overall, I think considering this is the second year, the first year of really actually having practices and dealing with COVID in the manner that they have, I thought it was okay. I don't really think you know anything about these teams until October. I mean, you pick one, and I just don't think because of schedule, because of just trying to get into football shape. Remember, Joe, football has changed dramatically when it comes to conditioning, where in practices, there's very little contact. But yet and still, you want somebody to go out on Saturday or Sunday and knock the tar out of people when they're not accustomed to doing it. I mean, your angles are differently. Your approach is different. You know, there's so many things that when you do it at full speed and instinct, it's a lot different than just tapping a guy on the shoulder pad.
So we had we started our football picks a week early this year. Last year it was just NFL picks, and we not only added people to the mix to the picks this year, we also added college games this year. So we only picked 3 games this week. We had the Penn State Wisconsin game, we had the Alabama Miami game, and then we had the Clemson Georgia game. So there you go. You see it right there. That's Ben Boyd. That's Andy Hanselman. My co-host on Weekend Joe. That's Brian Hoffman, Frank's old producer, Frank Cusimano. And that's Howard Richards right there, Claibs, former NFL player. You'd expect to do a little bit better than 1-2 in the first week of the season in his debut. But there he is right there, 1-2 and dead last to start things off.
He's my least worry about where he finishes in the standings. The standings will have a significant look as we get into the season, other than at the top. That may not change. Everybody else, I expect to probably, you know, exchange spots from here and there, but the top will probably remain the same.
Now Ben Boyd, executive producer over there at KMOX, he has said, he warned us when we invited him to join it this year, that he said, just to let you know, I've won the KMOX picks every year. I always win in those. So he wanted to let us know what we were doing by bringing him into the mix.
You mentioned the KMOX. Who over there really knows anything about football? I love Kevin Wheeler. Kevin Wheeler is a really smart guy when it comes to baseball. Tom Ackerman. Who else? Oh, maybe
I don't know who they have going in that.
I don't know who else they have. But you know what? I just will say
Dave Klein. Maybe Klein picks some. I don't know.
This is the big leagues over here with this particular list of competitors. So, Ben, you're going to have to make sure that your Manny and Benny aren't picking your games for you every week. Okay, this is a little different. It's a little different situation. I'm just saying.
So we're going to add the NFL games into there, probably 5 or so games each and every week. We'll reveal the picks on Weekend Joe. We'll reveal the standings each and every week here on Lunch with Claibs and Joe, which is driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura, powered by Ameren, Illinois, and also sponsored by this man, Ryan Kelly.
You know, the only thing faster than this supersonic golf cart are the closing times at thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage rates are in the 2s, and we have a 21-day closing guarantee. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
So I know we started off, we probably meant to start off with some Cardinal talk, but we found our way into college football notes. So let's jump back into the Cardinals discussion. This past weekend, they had a really good opportunity to take the series away from the Milwaukee Brewers, which they gave away Sunday afternoon. And then that went right into the start of yesterday's game, allowing 4 runs in the first inning. Claibs, I know you weren't up there in Milwaukee to see what happened on Sunday afternoon, but yesterday, I mean, it just seems like, and I've said this before, it seems like the National League keeps wanting to let the Cardinals stay in the race and give them an opportunity, and the Cardinals keep closing the door on themselves. At some point, I know that the guys think they can make a run and think they are capable of getting into that second wild card spot. But just time and time again, it just seems like losses like Sunday will just take all the wind out of the sail.
Oh, I agree. And I just don't know how many more times you can pick yourself up off the canvas after losing in the manner that they have. I mean, these have been some devastating losses this year, Joe. And I can't recall another season where I've seen this many devastating losses and in the manner that they've lost. I've seen them walk off a lot of teams in the past, but this year it's either you're not hitting, your starting pitching gives it up too early, your bullpen blows up. I mean, and everybody has been part of this. This isn't one person. This isn't one situation. This has been a true team effort up and down. And I don't know how you fix it at this point. I mean, and as I said, I don't know how many more times this team can get up off the canvas and try and fix this.
And you saw, you talk about picking themselves up. You saw in the game on Sunday the walk-off grand slam by Vogelbach. And before that, when Mike Schilt goes to Alex Reyes in the bullpen, I don't think it's been brought up. I don't think anyone's talked to Reyes about it, but you just saw the body language of him having to come into that game. And it just seemed like Milwaukee, a pitcher's mound in Milwaukee, was the last place that Alex Reyes wanted to be on Sunday, which makes the walk-off grand slam look even that much worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be a little different on this. I think he should have thrown him in there. That's what he's here for. And every reliever, every closer has a moment where it just gets really bad for him. And you got to pick yourself up, man. You got to just go out and keep fighting. Now, maybe he's squeezing it a little tight. Maybe he's doing some things differently. But when it's all said and done, this is what he does. And you have to fight through it and figure out a way to be better next time.
And they still sit here now. They lose yesterday afternoon to the Dodgers. And they're still sitting 3.5 games out.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in it.
It seems like they have been so bad these last 2 weeks. And this is the exact same. I mean, if anything, I think they've gained a game recently in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it's one of those things where it's still there to be taken. But here's the thing. You played the Dodgers yesterday. And if you get in the wild card, there's a good chance you'll play them and you'll see Scherzer again. There's a big difference between the Cardinals and the Dodgers right now.
There is. And I do want to talk to you about Albert Pujols. So I want to talk to you, get your thoughts on him. But quickly, a word from our friends over at Ameren.
Every day, Ameren, Illinois works to deliver reliable energy throughout the state to on-the-go families, in-the-know grandparents, and busy students. But did you know we also have ways to manage your energy? Paperless billing, outage notifications, pick a due date, auto pay, and so much more. So no matter who you are or how you use your energy, there's an option that's right for you. Learn more at amerenillinois.com/options.
Back here on Lunch with Claibs and Joe. And by the way, before we get into some of the more of the Dodger talk for this week, as I just said, Rammer and I just recorded Daily Cards Live for today. You can find that each and every weekday right here on claibsonline.com, whether it's the audio version that's updated later on after the podcast, or if you want to watch it live, you can do so on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. And then it's there for you throughout the rest of the day, all the way, well, I guess forever, but relevant up until the first pitch. But check it out, Daily Cards Live each and every weekday right here on claibsonline.com. So one of the things we talked about in Daily Cards Live today, Claibs, as we were talking about Albert Pujols' return to St. Louis, Thursday very well could be the very last time he plays a game here in St. Louis in front of Busch Stadium. Before that, first of all, do you think Thursday will be the last time Albert Pujols plays a game in Busch Stadium?
No, I think he may try and come back next year. And with the DH, that means he can play anywhere. He won't be restricted to the American League. So I think that he's a guy that'll come back. So I'm not going to look at this as being the last time.
I know he's in the comments he made Sunday during the press conference. I know he's very much looking forward to it. Dave Roberts said he is starting Tuesday and Thursday. He will start against the lefties. Adam Wainwright goes tomorrow. Albert Pujols, do you think it is possible that he talks his way into the starting lineup on Wednesday to face Adam Wainwright?
Have you seen how well Wainwright's pitched lately? Why would you volunteer to go out and maybe have wear the collar? Look, let's just stay in the comfort lane of lefties. No, I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, here's the other thing. Have you noticed how good of a player Max Muncy is? I mean, hey, I love the sentimental thing, but Max Muncy is a better player right now. And the Dodgers are in a battle for first place. So we can save all the hoopla for later. I don't see it happening.
It does seem like Albert's having a lot of fun in playing for the Dodgers this year, that the change of scenery going from the Angels to the Dodgers has really kind of rejuvenated him a bit. He understands his role now with the team, and just having a playoff appearance again on the horizon, I think is something that is making him very happy with his current role right now with the team. Does he wish that he was able to perform at the level he did 10 years ago? Absolutely. But I think he does have an understanding of where he is and what he's capable of doing. And it does seem like he's in a very good place.
Well, you know why he's happy? He's on a winning team. I think if this team was 15 games out of first place, this wouldn't be a happy Albert Pujols. Okay. So winning right now makes everyone happy. And I think that's the only reason. I don't think there's another reason why he's this lovable, likable guy who's having fun if he was on a bad team. If he was on a bad team, he might have packed it up and went home. But that's
and I think, the opportunities when the Angels did let him go, I think he looked around, and if none of the playoff teams were calling, he very well still could be sitting at home right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, having the opportunity to go to a World Series favorite, I think is, that does a lot. The fact of getting one more, the thought of getting one more ring is going to help out quite a bit. Hey, I want to talk to you about this before we get into some other stuff here. This isn't really Cardinal related, but I don't know if you saw the Kyle Farnsworth tweets that he sent out yesterday, former Red Cub, number of teams. He tweeted out, "I just saw that a MLB player didn't play today because of general soreness. Are you kidding me? It's September. Everyone is sore. If you can't play through soreness, you shouldn't be playing the sport." Many people thought that this was directed towards Trey Mancini, who sat out yesterday's Baltimore Orioles game due to soreness. Trey Mancini had cancer last year, sat out the entire 2020 season while getting treatment for cancer, and then returned this year to be an all-star. And again, the Orioles aren't going anywhere. So him sitting out a game in September isn't going to do much to affect where the team's going to end up this year. Kyle Farnsworth, another one of the former athletes that's trying to insert himself into modern day situations.
Well, modern day means guys take days off more. That's first and foremost. I think there are a lot of players that are dealing with the September woes because remember, they only played 60 games last year.
Yeah.
And I think there's some guys who were not prepared as much as they thought. I think some teams managed differently. And I'll give you a good example. I think San Diego, the reason why San Diego's fighting for a playoff spot is because they shot their wad early in the season with their bullpen, and now their bullpen's shot. I mean, they're trying to trick people at this point in the season because they don't have enough. They didn't have enough pitching at the deadline. They tried to make a couple more deals. It didn't work out. But if you look around baseball, everybody's bullpen and a lot of teams, as far as starting rotation, are struggling right now because I think they've all hit the wall. It's already going to be tough because it's the month of September. But I think because of the fact that no one played beyond 60 games last year from a regular season standpoint, and some didn't even play that many, I think it's caught up to some people.
Yeah, San Diego right now has just the slightest of holds on that second wild card spot, up a game on Cincinnati, but they still have 2 games in hand that they are 2 games behind in the games played column against the Reds. Phillies 2 games back. Cardinals, as we mentioned earlier, 3.5 games back. You saw this last weekend, now that the Dodgers are in town, the kind of back and forth that the Dodgers and Giants had this past week. The Dodgers finally caught the Giants, passed them in the standings, had a hold on first place for a whole day before giving it back to the Giants, who still have the best record in all of baseball, 88-50 right now on the season. As Milwaukee, they're running away with things too. That NL East still seems to be wide open with the Braves and the Phillies, and then the Mets just doing whatever the Mets are doing, hanging in the back. And I don't think they're much of a cause for a threat with everything else that's going on over in Queens right now, but they're still there. If we're going to give the Cardinals a chance at making the second wild card spot, I think we have to give the Mets a chance at making the playoffs.
No, I
too.
agree. And you know what? Here's what all these teams have in common. They're all short. They're all short of talent. They're all short of pitching. They're all short of hitting. And just like somebody in New York is saying the same thing about the team in St. Louis. I mean, they all share that. And when you have teams that teeter on 500, teeter on trying to get in the playoffs, I'm kind of the belief that all these guys are fighting to play 163 games instead of 162, because I don't think the teams that we see on a regular basis have enough to win a series. Now, they may get lucky and win a wild card, but I don't even know if that's possible, especially with the teams that are going to be in a position to maybe set up their rotation for postseason. They're going to be in a pretty good spot. My opinion, all those teams you just talked about, they should already be in playoff mode. All right, because every game counts. And you have to play like this is your last game. And sometimes you succeed and sometimes you don't. But if you're not in a playoff mode mentality right now, you're wasting everybody's time.
And see, as far as the AL playoffs go, I know what I'm about to say is contradictory to what I just said. But when you look at the standings right now, all 5 teams that are in the playoffs right now, they all have decent leads compared to what you see in the NL wild card. Toronto 3 games back out of the second wild card spot right now, along with Seattle, and then 3.5 games for Oakland. So those are the only 3 teams that are on the outside looking in with a chance as of now. But it does seem like it's set with Tampa, Houston, Chicago, Yankees, and Boston. And outside of those 3 division leaders right now, I don't think any of those wild card teams in the AL scare me at all as far as what they bring. The Yankees lineup, that first 5 or 6 is fun when you write it down on paper, but outside of that, I mean, tell me who scares you on the pitching staff for the Yankees or for the Red Sox even.
Garrett Cole.
That's it.
Yeah. No, and you're right. And again,
that's
I go back to my original point.
Yeah, and they might need that for 163, and then and then they got nothing.
And all of these teams share the same shortcomings. Not enough pitching, not enough consistent hitting. And when you don't have either one of them, and maybe you can even stretch it to an uncertain bullpen, they all share the same thing. And that's why I'm not sure if the wild card is going to be that exciting this year. These teams have just shown such inconsistency. And we see it here in St. Louis, but you look around baseball, Joe, and there are a lot of teams like the Cardinals who just can't put a run together because they're short at a position. Somebody's having a disappointing year. Somebody didn't live up to expectation. You had too many kids playing early who probably didn't need to be in the big leagues, but you didn't have a choice. So all of those teams share the same woes.
Yeah, and as far as when you say the wild card's not that exciting, you mean whatever team makes it from the wild card, making a deep
Right.
run? Because
Mm-hmm.
that wild card game, that one and done game is still going to be extremely exciting to watch when you see the different styles that managers will approach a game like that for. Right now, if you're putting it out there, let's just say hypothetically, and maybe I'll ask this question every week until the Cardinals are well out of it. If the Cardinals have their choice of who they throw in a wild card game, who is it right now?
It's Wainwright.
If Flaherty's healthy, Wainwright over Flaherty?
Well, I might go by committee for a wild card game.
Yeah. Well, then you got to figure out who's getting those last 3 outs, which have seemed to be a bit of a problem.
I think by then you would have, you know what, if you're playing for a wild card, you've already figured that out.
Yeah. So that's very, very good point. So we have, so there you go. Cardinals, Dodgers, 3 more games this week. What do you have on the pregame show for this week?
Pregame show this week. We're going to talk with the folks from United Way. Their season is about to kick off from a charity fundraising aspect. I'm going to visit with Lee Arthur Smith today as well. Talk some baseball with him.
Very nice.
Other than that, we just kind of play it by ear for the rest of the week and just see how things unfold.
And is he there tonight? Is he at the ballpark tonight for the bobblehead out? And yeah, they've brought back some pretty good names for that.
They've done a nice job with that. We had a good crowd yesterday. We had 43,000, and I'd say of the 43,000, probably 16,000 were Dodger fans.
I did see that. Yeah, there was quite a bit of blue yesterday. I was very surprised that yesterday they broke the 40,000 mark for yesterday's game. I thought for sure that was going to happen tonight. I didn't think that was going to happen yesterday.
Well, it was a holiday. Nobody had anything to do. African American Heritage Day was a sellout. They sold a ton of tickets for that. So there were a lot of different reasons to come in. You had people who maybe even visited St. Louis for the weekend. As I mentioned, this Dodger bunch really travels well also. I think if it would have been the Pirates or somebody else that we just don't really care about, I don't think he would have had that kind of crowd. But I think the Dodgers had a lot to do with it. And we'll see that same sort of setup maybe for the Giants and certainly San Diego before it's over with.
Little NFL talk coming up in just a bit right here on Lunch with Claibs and Joe, driven by Mungenast St. Louis Acura. Powered by Ameren, Illinois, and also sponsored by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Find him online at thehomeloanexpert.com.
St. Louis Acura is excited to announce the opening of our newly remodeled service lounge. We sell pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models and take pride in servicing what we sell. We offer free pickup and delivery service and a complimentary car wash and vacuum with every service. We also have a full-service reconditioning shop on site that can repair dents, bumpers, and wheels. As the nation's only 29-time Acura Precision Team winner for customer satisfaction, we work every day to make St. Louis Acura better than ever for you.
So NFL Week 1 kicks off on Thursday. Buccaneers and Cowboys. Claibs, last week you started a few new podcasts actually here on Claibs Online. You and Earl are going to be doing a weekly show talking about high school sports, prep sports in the area. No better voice to talk about prep sports in St. Louis than the awesome one, Earl Austin Jr. But also you and Howard Richards are going to get together each and every week, huddle up with Howard. And that's, you guys are going to cover it all from Mizzou football, college football, and then everything in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We started last week, and we had a good time with it. And now we have some NFL games to talk about that are on the schedule. I'm looking forward to it. And Earl, I mean, what more can you say about Earl?
As you look at the start of this NFL season, one of the big things, 17 games this year, 18 weeks into the season. Is there one big storyline that you are really looking at for the start of this year? I know last year it really was just how, empty stadiums, guys missing from COVID, but now we'll have full stadiums and a lot more COVID rules being put into place. But as far as that goes, the play on the field, the thing I'm looking forward to most is just how pissed off Aaron Rodgers is going to be this year and how that's going to affect how well he plays on Sundays.
I think Aaron Rodgers overplayed his hand. He thought he could make it happen in the manner he's seen some other guys. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have because he doesn't have his left tackle. So that's something he might want to be thinking more about more than being pissed off. I think a couple of storylines will be, what are you going to do in Houston with Deshaun Watson not going to start? I think the other issue is the health of the league with this additional game. And you have a guy that goes down, it may be hard to replace him. So I really look at how this team or how these leagues are going to be able to keep enough guys healthy where they can play and have a good run. I think there's a lot of quarterback situations that we ought to pay attention to. Roethlisberger in Philadelphia. Can some of the guys we saw break through last year stay there? Namely, the quarterback in Buffalo, young man out in San Diego, Herbert. I mean, there were some guys who I thought did well. You've got Denver in that situation where Drew Lock loses his job, and rightfully so. There's a lot of quarterback issues. And if you're Tua, knowing that you were on the trade block in the offseason after 1 year, how do you respond? So there's a lot of interesting storylines I think will make the league quite the conversation piece on Mondays.
Yeah, don't forget Jameis Winston down in New Orleans and how he'll handle how he'll handle things down there.
Kirk Cousins, who decided not to get the shot, and now half his team is looking at him like he's nuts. I mean, so that in the shot itself, the vaccination is still an issue within the NFL. So, and here's the other thing. If you forfeit, not only do you not get paid, the opponent doesn't get paid. So everybody has something at stake here. So, this is going to be very interesting to see how they maintain this over the course of 17 weeks.
So, with that being said, what Super Bowl prediction? What do you got? Who's taking it this year? The Super Bowl in LA. You got to give a preseason prediction.
No, I don't believe in that. You know what? Because there's too many things that could happen. You lose a good player, and all of a sudden your season is shot. So, let's play some games first. Why don't we come back and visit this in October when the games actually have been underway and we know who can play and who can't?
For fantasy reasons, Josh Allen's my preseason MVP. That's where I'm going, loading up on him on all of my leagues this year, much like I did last year, and he did well for me. So there.
All right.
Hey, Claibs, I know we gotta get going here. Earl and Howard, what are they being recorded on Thursday? When can folks look for their interviews this week?
You can hear them on. You can see them on Thursday. Hear them on Thursday.
All right, so you got that. You got Keith Costas. We got Daily Cards with me and Rammer. We got a whole lot going on each and every week right here on claibsonline.com. Check out our YouTube page. A lot of video coming up there too. So go to the YouTube page, Claibs Online, subscribe there. All the we're posting them live when they happen on Twitter and on Facebook as well. He is Mike Claiborne. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been Lunch with Claibs and Joe, powered by Ameren, Illinois, driven by Munganast St. Louis Acura, and also sponsored by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Find him online, homeloanexpert.com.